In the news for today, Friday, February the 1st, a dog saved a woman from a serious attack on the Parkway estate on Wednesday night. Town councillors may consider a costly judicial review if they find they have a chance of overturning the county's decision not to give them the Burton Centre. And Haverhill's Paralympian, Caroline MacLean, has been given the freedom of the town. Her dog saved a woman who was grabbed by a man as she put her rubbish out on the Parkway estate on Wednesday night. Police in Haverhill are appealing for information after the incident, which happened at 10:50 p.m. in Tower Court. The 33-year-old woman was putting her rubbish into a wheelie bin when a man who was whistling approached her from behind. The man wrapped his arms around her, picked her up and carried her a short distance down the road, and then dropped her down when her dog went for him and he ran off. The man is described as of medium build, 5 foot 7 inches tall. He wore a dark hooded top, dark jogging bottoms and white trainers. Were you in the area? Did you see this man, or do you recognise him from the description? If so, you're asked to call PC Guy Ainsworth at Haverhill Police on 101 or Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. The attack follows one made on a teenage girl on the Chalkston estate on Tuesday morning.
Hello, it's Inspector Ferry from Haverhill Police Station. I'd like to talk to you today about a serious offence that happened on Tuesday the 29th of January. A young girl was grabbed in an alleyway close to Wortham Place in Haverhill. She was 13 years old. She was walking along the alleyway. A male described as being in his 30s, wearing blue jeans with a hole in the left knee and a black hoodie, grabbed hold of her and pushed her into the bush. She then fell back towards him and he grabbed her around the throat. Luckily, she managed to kick him in the leg and he then ran off. But we'd like to hear from anyone in Haverhill that recognises the description of this person, described, as I say, as a white male in his 30s with a black hoodie. We didn't really get a clean look at his face, and blue jeans with a hole in the left knee. So if you know anyone that fits that description, please ring 101 and ask to speak to PC Carl Edley at Haverhill, who's dealing with that issue.
Haverhill Town councillors are to weigh up the chances and costs of a judicial review in their bid to take over the Burton Centre. Members heard at this week's meeting that Suffolk County Council had failed to explain to their satisfaction its decision to hand the building over to St Nicholas Hospice instead of the Town Council. Town councillors want it as a base for reinstating youth services in the town, which have been cut by the county. Town Clerk Will Austin described how he'd asked a public question at full County Council meeting in Ipswich, but had not received satisfactory answer. The Town councillors described the bidding process for the building carried out by the County Council as flawed. So the next move would be to see if it was possible to mount a legal challenge. To begin with, they could get legal advice free. But if it went further, the Town Council could become involved in very high legal costs, particularly for a judicial review. It would be vital to establish there was a good chance of winning. Members agreed they had to weigh up the chances of success with the possible costs to taxpayers, but they felt they had to at least explore the issue further. The County Council had put forward the former courthouse in Camps Road as an alternative base for youth activities, but members thought it was nuts to spend hundreds of thousands converting this building for a purpose which another building existed down the road, while another organisation spent hundreds of thousands of pounds changing that building to a different purpose. The immediate future of Haverhill Local History Group has been safeguarded by a one-off grant from Haverhill Town Council to cover a shortfall in their rent on the History Centre. The group has a room in Haverhill Arts Centre at a rent of £4,350 a year, including VAT, for which they had been receiving a grant historically from St Edmundsbury Borough Council. Group Secretary David Pearce told Town Council members this week that due to a misunderstanding and misinformation, they had failed to apply to St Edmundsbury for the grant this year. They had been told the borough had ceased giving grants for core funding of groups, although they now believe this was not the case. They had raised £1,300 in sponsorship from local companies, and members had come up with £800, but they were still £2,500 short. Councillors agreed to give them the money, which will come back to the council anyway, as the town hall charity, which is the landlord. And finally, Haverhill's Paralympian Caroline MacLean was given the freedom of the town at a town council meeting on Tuesday evening. Caroline, who attended with the Olympic torch, which she carried as part of the relay through the town in July last year, has taken part in several Olympic and Commonwealth Games as part of the national wheelchair basketball team. Town Clerk Will Austin said she had put Haverhill on the map, and the council wanted to express its appreciation. Members voted to do this by conferring the Freedom of Haverhill on her, and she was presented with a certificate. And Councillor Maureen Burns said she had given people a lot of pride in Haverhill. Mr Austin explained that Freedom of Haverhill allowed Caroline to graze any sheep or goats she may have in the churchyard. That's all for today, but join us again on Tuesday, and meanwhile keep in touch by going to www.haverhilluk.co.uk or following us on Twitter. And don't forget my weekly video blog, Heart of the Matter, tomorrow. And here is the weekend weather.